So trying to figure out the vehicle speed sensor in the Mk1, in the all-wheel drive Mk1. This sensor needs plus 12 volts, ground, and then it will give signal to the ECU. The cables from aftermarket ECU, like the harness, in the end, inside the car, the plus 12 volts and the ground was not connected to anything. So I have now connected the 12 volts to 12 volts and the ground to ground. I am using this, the Max ECU, and I'm using the street version, the Max ECU Street. I bought this one because it was perfect to my previous setup with the VR6 in this car. So now I am using one digital input for this signal, and I can check where is it. So you can see here, vehicle speed sensor, this one, it's at 0. This is going to show when everything is working. This will show like the speed you're driving at. You also need to calibrate. But since I have spare parts, or this gearbox is on 02M gearbox. It's from Golf R32. So it's essentially the same gearbox as I have in this car, only this is for the VR6, and so the clutch house is kind of the big difference. I never used this gearbox, but it came with, when I bought it, it came with this speed sensor. So I tried to hook this up to the wiring, and then I have enough wire to kind of have it in the car. Plug it in, and then I try with to take some metal in front of this, and then I should be able to see if the signal, if the ECU will receive signal. But after some time when I've been trying to figure this out, I realized I don't think this is working, because like this long part and the connector were not connected to each other. They were apart. So I tried to push them together, but I don't know if it will, it's good enough. So I don't trust this one. I have now wired up everything, so now I know that the connector have 12 volts and it has ground. According to some schematics I saw on the internet, pin number 1 should have plus 12 volts. Pin number 2 should have like the output back to the ECU, be connected to the ECU, and then pin number 3 should have the ground. I wired it like this screen, and so it should be, the wiring should be okay. And I'm going to connect it to the gearbox, and then I will test it later, see if it works. It's not something I need right now, but it's just good to have. Also, one thing I've done is with the launch control, I figured out, or I just checked the settings on the ECU, because I have this e-brake or handbrake. There is a button on this, and this button I have wired up to the ECU, and I programmed it to activate launch control. I had the setting like this: push on, push off. Then it's like you push it once, the launch control is on, you push it again, then it's off. I have now done this, selected this, so it's like activate while the input is active. So now it's like only when I hold it down, the launch controller works. And this I can also check. See this one, digital input 1, and I have now named it launch control. And you can see this, now it's at 0, so it receives no signal. Push it, 1. I push it now. So this is how I want it to be. I don't know, it's just a small update while I'm trying to figure this all out. My plan, can I put you here without you falling? My plan is to buy like mobile phone holder, and then I'm going to use the Speedo from this mobile app, and then have this next to the gauge. And it's good to have, you know, when you drive you shouldn't be on your phone anyway. So I'm gonna buy something that I'm just gonna have here, bolted somewhere, and just something like this. So this is the wiring to the vehicle speed sensor. The vehicle speed sensor is behind the gearbox on the back side. So this is the same gearbox, and this is the front of the engine, this is the back of the engine, and the vehicle speed sensor is right here. So now, while the engine is cool, I can plug this in.